Philadelphia News, Team of My Heart. In this video, we uncover the latest Sixers news that every Philadelphia fan needs to hear. We're talking about the dark horse trade candidates who could unexpectedly break into the starting lineup and become game changers this season. If you're worried about the Sixers' depth or curious about the next big move, this is the video you can't miss. We'll explore how these under-the-radar players could impact the Sixers' title chances and why you should be paying attention. With Sixers news and trade rumors heating up, now is the time to get all the insights. Don't forget to subscribe for more Sixers news and updates. Your support could be the difference in bringing a championship to Philadelphia. Imagine the excitement coursing through your veins as you think about the Philadelphia 76ers' upcoming season. The Sixers have a powerhouse starting lineup that's ready to dominate. But you know as well as anyone that an 82-game NBA season is full of surprises, twists, and unexpected opportunities. You're probably asking yourself, who could emerge from the shadows and step into the spotlight of the starting five? Who are the dark horse candidates that could change the course of the season? Let's talk about it. You know the Sixers have Joel Embiid, Paul George, and Tyrese Maxey as their mainstays, with Kelly Oubre and Caleb Martin likely rounding out the starting five. It's a lineup that screams potential. But, as any true Sixers fan knows, the grind of the regular season demands more than just a solid starting five. Injuries, slumps, and the unpredictable nature of the game mean that the team will need depth and versatility. This is where dark horse candidates come into play, those players who could seize their moment and force Nick Nurse's hand to shuffle the deck. One name that could be a game-changer for the Sixers this season is Eric Gordon. He's no stranger to big moments. Remember his days in Houston? Gordon was a starting-caliber shooting guard, battling the best teams in the West, including those dominant Golden State Warriors squads. Even last season, despite playing on a depleted Phoenix roster, he managed to start 24 games and averaged a respectable 11.0 points per game while shooting nearly 38% from beyond the arc. You might be thinking, but we've got Oubre in that spot. And you're right. But Oubre will be tested, guarding smaller, quicker opponents and taking on explosive scorers night after night. If Oubre struggles to balance offense and defense, don't be surprised if Gordon steps up. Gordon might not bring the same defensive intensity as Oubre, but he's got the scoring touch. 4 years ago, he was nearly averaging 18 points per game. Imagine him finding his groove again with the Sixers, especially with Embiid, George, and Maxey drawing the defense's focus. If Gordon can capitalize on the openings created by these stars, he could make a strong case for starting. Even if he doesn't start every game, his ability to put points on the board could be crucial in key moments. And let's not forget, having a scorer like Gordon on the floor alongside your stars could elevate the entire team's offensive firepower. But Eric Gordon isn't the only player to keep an eye on. Another intriguing candidate is KJ Martin. The Sixers picked him up in a smart trade, and although his minutes were limited last season, Martin has the physical tools and potential to become a key player. You saw glimpses of his talent during his time with the Rockets, where he averaged 12.7 points per game as a starter in the 2022-23 season. His athleticism and versatility make him a prime candidate to be a defensive anchor on the wing and an explosive finisher around the rim. This season is critical for Martin. If he can tap into that potential and replicate his breakout performance from a couple of years ago, he could very well push for a starting role. Picture this, Martin thriving as a starter while Caleb Martin takes charge of the second unit, adding depth and dynamism to the Sixers' rotation. Whether Martin becomes a starter or a crucial rotation piece, it's a win-win situation for Philadelphia. Either he elevates his game, or his solid play makes him an attractive trade asset that could bring in a more seasoned player later in the season. Then, there's the breakout star of the Summer League, Ricky Council IV. You've heard his name before, and if you followed the Sixers' summer games, you know he's got the potential to make some noise this season. Council led the offense in Las Vegas, showing off his scoring ability and versatility. Although he only played in 32 games last season, his 37.5% shooting from three-point range and his knack for attacking the basket caught everyone's attention. In a team that's still figuring out its depth on the wing, Council's skills could see him force his way into the starting lineup. Now, you might think his scoring is better suited to the second unit, and you wouldn't be wrong. But remember, Nick Nurse is known for mixing things up to find the right balance. If Council continues to impress, don't be shocked if he gets a shot at starting. His ability to stretch the floor and finish at the rim could be just what the Sixers need to complement their superstar trio and provide a different look against tough opponents. This season, the Sixers are not just playing to be good, they're playing to be great, to be champions. And for that to happen, every player on the roster will need to contribute. The dark horse candidates, Gordon, Martin, and Council, represent the kind of depth that could push the Sixers over the top. Now that you're already thinking about these dark horse candidates, let's consider how they could really impact the Sixers season. As a fan, you know that having depth is crucial. Injuries happen, players hit slumps, and sometimes the grind of the season requires fresh energy to shake things up. That's why keeping an eye on players like Eric Gordon, KJ Martin, and Ricky Council IV isn't just interesting, it's essential. These guys could be the secret weapons that Nick Nurse calls upon when the season gets tough, and the stakes get even higher. Take Eric Gordon, for example. You've seen what he can do when he's in his rhythm. His ability to catch fire from three-point range could change the dynamics of any game. Imagine a scenario where the Sixers are in a close contest, and the starters are struggling to find their shot. That's when Gordon's experience and scoring ability could be invaluable. You could easily see him stepping onto the court, hitting a few clutch threes, and turning the momentum in Philadelphia's favor. That's the kind of impact that can earn a player more minutes, and eventually, a spot in the starting lineup. But it's not just about scoring. Gordon's presence on the floor could also open up the game for others. You know how defenses tend to collapse on stars like Embiid or George. With Gordon on the perimeter, defenders would have to think twice before leaving him open. This could create more space for Embiid to work in the post or for Maxey to attack the basket. It's a ripple effect. Gordon's shooting could make everyone else on the floor more dangerous. And if that happens, how could you not see him as a potential starter? Now, let's turn our attention back to KJ Martin. You've probably been wondering whether this could finally be his breakout year. The Sixers have a lot invested in him, and for good reason. Martin's athleticism and energy are exactly what the team needs, especially in those grinded-out games where the pace slows down, and the team needs someone to inject some life into the lineup. You can picture it, Martin coming off the bench, throwing down a thunderous dunk, and suddenly the crowd is alive, the momentum shifts, and the Sixers are back in control. Martin's ability to make those kinds of plays could earn him a bigger role as the season progresses. And let's not forget his defensive potential. With the league being more wing-oriented than ever, having a player who can guard multiple positions and challenge shots at the rim is crucial. If Martin can consistently bring that defensive intensity, you might see Nick Nurse experiment with lineups that feature Martin in the starting five, especially against teams with versatile forwards. But what about Ricky Council IV? You might think of him as a long shot, but that's what makes him such an intriguing dark horse. The Summer League is where young players often show glimpses of their potential, and Council did just that. He's got the kind of confidence and scoring ability that could make a difference, especially in a season as long and grueling as this one. You know that the Sixers will need fresh legs and someone who isn't afraid to take on a challenge. Council's three-point shooting and ability to attack closeouts could give him an edge when the team needs a spark. Picture him coming into a game, knocking down a few quick threes, and suddenly forcing the opposing defense to adjust. If he can do that consistently, it wouldn't be surprising to see Nurse give him more responsibility. And who knows? That could eventually lead to him cracking the starting lineup, especially if the Sixers need to shuffle things around due to injuries or matchups. You've seen how these types of players can make all the difference in a season. It's not just about the stars, though they're obviously key, it's about the entire roster stepping up when needed. Eric Gordon, KJ Martin, and Ricky Council IV all have the potential to be those difference makers for the Sixers. It's this depth that could set Philadelphia apart from the competition and keep them competitive throughout the season. Of course, the road to the NBA Finals is never easy. But with the Sixers' mix of proven veterans, rising stars, and dark horse candidates ready to make their mark, you have every reason to be optimistic about what this season could bring. As you think about the possibilities for the Sixers this season, it's hard not to get excited about the potential of these dark horse candidates. You know that the NBA season is a marathon, not a sprint. And in this marathon, it's often the unexpected contributors who make the difference between a good team and a championship contender. Eric Gordon, KJ Martin, and Ricky Council IV each bring something unique to the table, whether it's Gordon's scoring punch, Martin's athleticism and defensive versatility, or Council's ability to stretch the floor and provide instant offense. The idea of seeing one of these players crack the starting lineup isn't just a fantasy, it's a real possibility that could unfold as the season progresses. Think about how Gordon's shooting could shift the balance in tight games, forcing defenses to pick their poison between guarding him on the perimeter or doubling down on Embiid in the paint. Or picture Martin's energy sparking a run that turns the tide in a crucial matchup. And then there's Council, the young gun who might just surprise everyone with his ability to score in bunches and bring fresh legs to a team that's looking to contend. You're well aware that the Sixers are entering this season with high expectations. The goal isn't just to make the playoffs, it's to make a deep run and challenge for a title. That's why every decision, every lineup tweak, every strategic adjustment matters. Nick Nurse has a reputation for being adaptable, for finding the right combinations to exploit an opponent's weaknesses. And you can bet he'll be looking at Gordon, Martin, and Council as potential keys to unlocking the Sixers' full potential. But beyond the X's and O's, what makes this season so compelling is the sense that something special is brewing in Philadelphia. You can feel it, the mix of proven talent and hungry newcomers, the veteran leadership combined with youthful energy. It's a recipe for success, but only if everyone plays their part. That's where you, as a fan, come in. Your support, your passion, your belief in this team is what fuels the Sixers. You've been with them through the highs and the lows, and now, as they prepare to chase a championship, your voice is more important than ever. If you're as excited as I am about what this season could hold, if you believe that the Sixers have what it takes to go all the way, then it's time to make sure you're part of the journey. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and stay locked in for all the latest Sixers news, updates, and analysis. This season is going to be one for the history books, and you won't want to miss a single moment. Together, let's see how far this team can go. Let's see if those dark horse candidates can rise to the occasion and help bring a championship to Philadelphia. Your support could be the difference, so make sure you're all in.